Hello everybody, всем привет. Today I'm working on improving this Heroes of Might and Magic 1 melee attack targeting system. I can show you, I guess, an example of what the bug is here. Let's just go find somebody easy to attack, like some rogues. So if I click attack here or attack here, it kind of works. Okay, I was hoping to show on my paladins. They're a good example here, but they've had bad morale. So, but you can see, for example, I want to attack straight on here with my Phoenix to do the breath attack, and I can't really. So it's I actually did, and the breath attack worked, but my cursor was off, so my targeting wasn't working very well. You know, like let's say I want to attack this rogue from behind. My targeting isn't working, so I'm basically trying to fix the targeting here. Like maybe I want to attack him from above, but I can't do that. So so this is the kind of let's call it the improvement that I want to make. So I did make some significant improvements when I improved the animation, but this still just isn't quite how I want it to work. So instead, to communicate this to the AI, I wanted to show it, okay, this is the cursor, and then this is like what an upward attack looks like from the paladin, for example. This is an across attack from the paladin, and again, noting the cursor here. This is a downward attack from the paladin, and then I show it the backward, you know, that it will flip and mirror the sprites and then attack backwards. Again, flip, mirror, sprites, both of these mirrors. So the peasant will actually mirror and turn towards the paladin to receive the attack and do the death animation. And same thing happens here. So I'm also showing like how the routing works, where if you select this, it means that you would actually walk on these spaces and attack, and you could attack down after walking in the center. So I'm basically trying to really get the mouse cursor routing and attack logic just tightened up. And then I have some empty things, and I don't know what that's doing there, but that's just left over from my good old PowerPoint rendering. It's a lot of fun now that, now that I have decoded successfully all of the ICN files, I can just make fun PowerPoints of the different battle strategies, and it I can just imagine some PowerPoint consultant teaching Heroes of Might and Magic with such a slide deck. But yeah, anyway, so I'm rebuilding the battle or the game engine. I want to improve the battle targeting system. I gave it all of those images, which I just exported from. I exported them from this PowerPoint function here, and then I dropped in the relevant battle code, which is getting quite large now by this point. The battle sprite documentation, battlefield render, and then mouse and inputs, because I thought they might be useful. Of course, game main's in there. So I'm explaining for adjacent melee attacks how this works, non-flying, non-shooting attacks, because my flying and shooting attacks seem to be working pretty well. Actually, that wasn't the case for the Phoenix or the Gargoyle in that last example that I just showed, but maybe we'll worry about that later, or maybe that'll just get fixed by this. I don't actually remember if it's fixed or not. But I've also attached a second image of the possible move and attack of the paladin. He's fast, can move 3 tiles, and then at the end of the move can attack based on the hex relationship of the attacker to the attacked. So again, I'm highlighting this direction of the hex attacker to the attacked. That hex relationship affects which animation is chosen. So the northeast side has the northeast facing combat mouse 07, and only when the mouse is hovering along that border between the hexes. And then I explain east, southeast, southwest, west, northwest, etc. And then we do have a north and south combat mouse, but you can't actually, I mean, maybe you can if you're flying. I think I actually did see it in the last animation image, but I didn't specify it clearly enough here, and I didn't really understand it in my mind how, like, what brings that up and down sword cursor, what that logic does. Sorry. So that's probably something I'm going to have to specify and tighten up a little later, but I just want to get a more significant improvement. Oh, I said, or a flying creature attacking an adjacent hex tile. So the melee attack for a non-flying creature, or ranged attack creature, or flying creature attacking an adjacent hex tile. So how that routing happens if either the flying or the ranged attack creature attacks an adjacent hex tile, because I want them to be able to select which direction they attack. Especially for the breath attacks, it's very important because you can just use those creatures much more effectively. The mouse cursor for the tooltip is too large. And then the cursor over an enemy's creature should not be this targetable cursor, or it should be the not targetable cursor, which is 0, 0, 0. In combat mouse. So I'm basically saying it should be this if you can't attack or reach the creature. Or a sword attack cursor, which is 7 through 14, if you can, and if you right click on the enemy, 5 is the question mark, like tooltip. That's only for friendly creatures. Otherwise, if you click on an unfriendly creature with a right click, when it's like not targetable, it will then show you the tooltip for those creatures. If a non-flying, non-ranged attack creature cannot walk to a hex tile that would target a creature for a melee attack, then the not targetable creature or cursor, so this one, is shown. And if they're out of movement range, that we also show that as well. We will still show the tooltip if they're not in range. And then let's just improve the battle stuff and give me full files and don't provide patches unless it's just 2 or 3 lines of code per file. So it has something, and I must have forgotten to add battle screen. Is that the case? No, I gave it battle screen. I don't know what was going on, why it didn't. It was saying something that it couldn't find battle screen. The battle screen H and CPP files didn't make it to disk. They were listed but not stored. They were likely too large. So there's apparently a limit in terms of these files that can be uploaded to the AI, and these files were getting bigger. I think battle screen at this point was like 6,000 or 7,000 lines of code, which is starting to get up there. It's like a 300 kilobyte file, so it's getting a little too big. So I uploaded it separately, and then it was able to sort of incorporate that. So it made some additions: unit sprite, center, rectangle, find approach tile, attack cursor, cursor for position, handle event. So it just kind of made some improvements. We had some compiler errors, still some more compiler errors, and then it made some nice fixes. So let's go see what our improvements were after this. Okay, let's go fight some peasants. These are such wonderful cannon fodder creatures to fight. So yep, I'm able to target those a little better. Able to target him a little better, so that looks good. Skip him. Oh, the dragon's gonna eat him. And it does seem like there's a little bit of a... Well, there's a shadow over... So there's a rendering order bug here where the shadow of the phoenix is over the dragon. And the dragon also showed a pain animation tile when it turned around for some reason. So that was a little strange, but let's see if we can find something else to attack with the paladins, just to see what they do. Okay, they don't like my paladins. But let's go and attack upper. Oh, it didn't attack. That's... Okay, well it did attack down there. So it might be a little inconsistent. So there might, I mean, there's definitely still some bugs to iron out, but I'm pretty satisfied with the improvement here. But at this point, I also was a little bit nervous, you know, so I made notes of, you know, what improved on Battlefield Render, and I think there's still a little bit of the attack rendering routing logic. There's some animation stuff where like that damage or wince frame of the dragon was being shown after he counterattacked and destroyed the peasants. He then winced, which doesn't seem right. So there's definitely a few little buggy things in there to get fixed. I am paying attention. I do notice the flaws here, and I'm just making notes, and I'll fix them later. Generally, things like that are much easier to fix when you have a very targeted, focused AI session on them. But the next, the thing that bothered me though about this was that I had to stop because this file was too large to be loaded, and so so what I did. See, I think I went here to refactor my large battle screen CPP file. So I did a refactor of this giant file, which I don't know if it'll tell us how many lines it is if we load it up. Yeah, 63 kilobytes. Is that right? That was battle resources. Let's look at battle screen. It's too big, see, to even preview. It's 300 kilobytes. So that's you know, this was basically like, okay, I need to get this refactored and break this down into some smaller files. Maybe we can break out like spells or some other things. So it's now 301 kilobytes. Let's consider how we might break this up into some smaller files, maybe 2 to 4 or 3 to 5, something like that. It's not a situation where we want to make code changes. Let's just review, plan, think about how this might look. Review for feasibility and come up with a plan if deemed feasible. So this is what it thinks we should do. We take battle screen, which is like 6,000 or 7,000 lines of code, trim it down to 1,500. We pull out combat, which is like start, move, attack, resolve, attack, ranged attack, breath, battle spells. So all the spell targeting, splash, status, glow, all that stuff. And then battle draw is a lot of the animation stuff. So we have the glow outline here, the result screen, the general options, creature tooltip, background texture, tiles. So a lot of this drawing stuff should be pulled out. So it proposes 4 files down from 6,700. So yeah, we had 6,700 lines of code. So we're splitting that into 4 files. So first we're going to do battle spell, then battle draw, battle combat, then battle screen at the end. And so gives a few ideas of some things to watch out for. And I'm like, okay, well, let's just go ahead and do this. So it, I guess it says I had a typo somewhere, but whatever. Probably just a file name typo. Creature is magic immune for dragons or anti-magic creatures, and roll spell resistance for things like dwarves. Those are both declared static in the battle screen. So we basically have to like move them out. We just change them from static, so they're no longer well, static, and then forward declare them in the top. So the other static helpers in that block are not called from the spell section, so they stay as is. So we don't, like, this is basically just the stuff that might be used in the spell section. We have to allow, like if we remove static, we're allowing them to be used by a battle spell. And so anyway, we go through this, makes the changes. I update my C make list to add this battle spell CVP. I download battle spell CVP, and then battle screen. Let's see if it tells us how big it is here. And it loads. Well, battle screen is now down to 15. No, that's not right, because that's the latest. There's this bug that it shows you the latest version of these coded files in these sessions. So it doesn't save. I don't know if that was an improvement on Anthropic's part or if it was a resource saving thing, but this is basically the final one that's at the end of the session is now the battle screen CP. So it's not realistic to look at this. That was the final one that ended up being like about 1,500 lines of code. Anyway, so the battle spell pulled out. I just did a test compile, tested a few features. It seemed like it worked. Great. Then we go on to the next step. So let's make battle draw. So it goes through, rips things out. It does the speed label. It's going to pull out about 2,000 lines or so, just under 2,000 lines, 1,899 lines. Just anything, draw, render, load, result screen, all that's just going to move verbatim. And then the background pipeline and result screen were separate, so it's merging those into one namespace HOMM1 block. So we got a minor compile error about creature is magic immune, where it was in the draw section something was happening, and so we just fixed that as well to make it not static probably. And then that one compiled and tested okay. So now we go on and let's do steps 3 and 4. But since step 3 is battle combat and step 4 is just cleaning up battle screen, like whatever's left, it's basically really just step 3 of splitting the last file into battle combat and battle screen. So and I submitted it. So in Claude now, there's this selection here where you can select the effort level. And I've been doing a lot of, well, not everything, but a lot of stuff on medium. And I had submitted something as a lower quality or lower level of thinking. And so I just like stopped it and basically reran it with the medium level of thinking. And so it says, great, it's going to implement this. Basically pulls like good luck and morale are cleaned up, it sounds like. And then there's like an extra XOR shift maybe. And is backward attack gave us some issue. Fixed that supposedly, but didn't present the fixed files, just random AI quirks. It's like, oh, okay, I did it. And I'm like, okay, but present the files, please. So at least it apologized politely and gave me the files. and I recompiled it, it worked. So now I wanted to break down my documentation into battle spells, battle draw, battle combat. And so it goes through, trims all this info out, and then we have a bunch of different documentation files. So that was all pretty good. It looked like it was working. And let's see what I have next here. Battle engine bugs was my next quirk. So I guess, so in my previous demo of it, I did have this situation where my paladin moved up and didn't attack. He just moved there. And I think I'm trying to capture that here. So let's see what the few bugs are. And oh, my magic spells and spell status was canceling a currently active creature's turn in battle. So let me just pull this up and see if I can reproduce maybe just even one of these bugs, because it was kind of interesting and definitely caught me by surprise. I've got curse instead of bless. I think I would like to try and get bless or protection in my first roll of the mage guild. All right, that works. We got both bless and protection that time. And let's just go up and say hello to the archers. So it's my paladin's turn. I'm gonna bless him. And suddenly that cancels his turn. So that's not correct. If I do this, he doesn't attack. So the attack logic is off, you see. So that was one thing I wanted to fix. And I still have this ghost. There's a ghost bug. When the ghost counterattacks, they don't get the creatures created. So that's still remaining. I don't know if I put that in here or not. But I basically described the creature movement attack cursor. I just demonstrated that, where the phoenix, you know, I literally did this, and the phoenix just moves there and doesn't attack. The second bug is the breath attack for 2 spaces. The dragon, phoenix, cyclops, it does not seem to affect friendly creatures. When it does the backwards attack for 2 spaces, the sprite of the attacking creature is not mirroring correctly, though the damage is distributed correctly to the 2 diagonal spaces behind. If both enemies, this isn't working yet for friendly creatures. So anyway, I threw a lot of this energy into it. It catches this attack cursor bug, the breath attack and backward attack mirroring. It takes a stab at changing that, and the spell cast ends active creature's turn. And make some changes there, but in 2 parts. So every hero damage spell correctly preserves the creature's turn. Hydra splash damage correctly still advances the turn. So the Hydra is one of those creatures that can attack multiple tiles, and that splash damage, I guess, is an effect that could have potentially ended the turn in the logic. And I did have to correct one of the AI statements here. This matches the original Heroes of Might and Magic 1 mechanic. Moving to a tile adjacent to an enemy auto-initiates a melee attack. And I said it absolutely does not. You know, it can be up, down, across, back, down, whatever. All these different directions. That's a movement ability. And then if the movement ability check passes, then the attack sword direction check can happen. The cursor is just move, and then the creature will just move there. If the cursor is attack, the creature will move to that tile and attack in the direction of the sword cursor, which reflects the relationship of the destination tile to the potentially attacked enemy creature. Probably should have used the word tile there. And so then I said, just try and fix this again. So I took another stab at it, battle combat, and I I think I liked how that turned out. Let's see what popped out of this one here. Okay, that looks better. That looks better. That looks better. Skip those guys. Skip those guys, and let's see if we can attack from the upper direction here. Yep. So that's all looking a lot better. Probably need to get someone and build a mage guild and see if we can get a spell to test. I think we got protection there. Still her turn. Zaps him, still protected. So yep, the spell bug was fixed. So it's looking pretty good. I haven't been testing the breath attack stuff so strongly, so I'm gonna spare you right now on that. I expect I'm gonna have to go back and tinker with the breath attack stuff some more. But it can take a while to set up the exact conditions in the battle. And so I'm going to pause that, and then I think that's a good point to end the video here.